Junkies here at RacineSportsZone.com. I'm Steve Sparky Fifer from 105.7 FM The Fan. Also check us out at AM 1250 on the AM dial as I co-host the Wendy's Big Show weekday afternoons from 2 until 6. Gery Woelfel also with us from the Racine Journal-Times. You can, of course, enjoy reading all of his stuff at RacineSportsZone.com. Time now to look ahead to the NBA draft. Thursday night we'll be doing our draft show live on AM 1250 and 105.7 FM The Fan, starting at 6 o'clock, pick-by-pick coverage all the way through the draft. Gery will be checking in live from draft headquarters. We'll have live reation.
This is at the Q Club?
We're at Q Club of Wisconsin in Waukesha.
That'd be great.
That night, correct. All right, now, Gery Woelfel. Not going to do a mock draft, nothing like that.
Okay.
Let's just talk about picks. Who do you first, before we go over who you think they'll pick, I want to know who you want them to pick. And then I'll tell you who I want them to pick.
Okay, who would I want? Do I get more than one guy?
Give me your top three.
Top three. Okay, my top one would be Rashad Vaughn.
Okay.
Shooting guard from UNLV.
All right.
Huge upside. Two would be Kevon Looney.
Okay.
Huge upside. Again, I'm putting this in the context that the Bucks are looking down the road. It's not a quick fix this year, next year. We're talking 2-3 years from now. Okay.
I'll let you finish before I disagree.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And then my third, if I wanted to go safe and say I know this guy is going to be around for 8 to 10 years, I don't have to worry at night what he's doing. Justin Anderson of Virginia. So those would be my top three. My
top three, because I'm going to disagree with Gery.
Absolutely. I expected nothing but that.
I don't think it's any more looking down the road. I don't buy it. Own the Future was last year. And now, as my co-host Rami Makloff says, I said, what's the slogan going to be this year, Rami? He said, the slogan this year is, the future is near. And then the following year is, the future is here. That's how this is going to play out. Maybe the Bucs should listen to his marketing slogans. But
I like that. That's pretty good.
If all the reports are true that the Bucs are going to be hot and heavy after a free agent center, and they're going to spend their money on a free agent center, this is not about the future.
Not at all.
This is about going to winning 50 games and trying to get home court advantage this upcoming season. If that's the case, then we're not talking about drafting projects. We're talking about drafting guys that can come in and help this team now and play at a high level. So for me, different than Gery, R.J. Hunter,
that's
shooting guard,
that's
number one.
That would be your dream.
My number one is Hunter. Okay. But they're close. 1 and 2 are close.
Okay.
Like I said before, the shooting guard.
Yeah, right, okay.
Number 2 is Rashad Vaughn.
Okay, we're on the same page there.
And number 3 is Justin Anderson.
Okay, so 2 out of 3.
We only differ on one. And like I said on a different video, in my dream scenario, you take Hunter or Vaughn and then move back up at the end of one by trading your 2 and something else and then taking Justin Anderson. And you come out of this draft with 2 guys that can score the basketball off the bench and can play together, in that second unit. Because right now, your backup point guard is Tyler Ennis. Not a scorer, but he is a distributor. So if Ennis can be on the floor on that second unit with 2 young guys that can shoot the rock, and in Anderson's case can also get to the rim and be that type of guy, now all of a sudden everything changes. And if you get that free agent center, that means Zaza's on the second unit at center.
Sure.
And if Henson stays, he's your backup power forward. And just everything looks a lot better if you can go get 2 scores in this draft that can play on the wing.
Yeah, no, I fully see where you're going with this. Now, I have been told that the Bucs are seriously thinking about moving up in the draft.
For who?
Okay, I'm not sure they're not going to divulge yet, but they definitely want to move up. Now, having said that, it's easier to say you want to move up than actually doing it. I mean, there's a bunch of teams that would love to move up. I have no idea who they have in mind. Okay.
But they can't get up high enough to get
But here's the catch. The only way they can get up there is if they dangle Michael Carter-Williams.
That's the only way.
There's a couple teams that would take him. Because John Henson, let's say they said, okay.
So hold on. So are you saying to get up, they would have to move MCW and their pick.
Correct.
To go up to flip-flop ones.
And that's only to a certain degree. That would probably, I'm just guessing, moving from 17 maybe to 13 or 12, okay? Now, if you want to go beyond that, you're going to have to sweeten the pot even more, okay? And are the Bucs willing to do that? Who knows? But, I mean, if they are, obsessed with some player in the top 10.
Just say, don't do that. Don't do that. And normally I'm about moving up, but don't do that. Just stay where you are and take the shooter.
And here you go. I totally agree with your premise that the future is now. Okay, with them.
That's what I mean. If they go get a free agent center, especially if it's Tyson Chandler, now you're playing for now. You ain't playing for 5 years from now.
Anybody that knows Jason Kidd knows that he's not playing.
He wants to win.
He wants to win.
Right.
Absolutely. And that's where this whole Bucks project could be derailed. I mean, John Hammond and Herb Cole did this a couple years ago when they decided to get Steven Jackson, and they had a chance to draft.
Corey McGee.
They could have had Klay Thompson, and they could have kept that whole rebuilding process going.
They ended up with Tobias Harris.
Yeah, and they got
traded for J.J.
Redick. But if you have Klay Thompson at that time, you take another step towards what they want to do. But they decided because they were good the year before that they could take the next step now. Well, I think the Bucks are falling into that same trap that they think, okay, if we add a free agent, we get a good.
But there's a difference here. I mean, there's a big difference. Number one, this team is more talented with young players that you can build around.
I agree.
That other team didn't have this talent. I mean, Jabari, Giannis, and Middleton are three guys that are going to be there next year and that you're going to build with. And you just saw Jabari Parker, and you said Jabari's in pretty good shape.
He's in great shape. I mean, the next time anybody sees Jabari Parker, they're not going to believe the transformation in his body. It's just remarkable. I have not seen anybody in the Bucks organization turn their body around in 1 year like this young man has. He's going to be a beast. I'm telling you. I was high on him before this. Right. I'm really high on him now.
Right. So if he's a star, Giannis, if he improves that jumper, Middleton comes back, we're all assuming they're going to match that.
Let me throw this at you. Do you think there's any scenario in which they would trade the Greek Freak?
Oh, don't get me in trouble. Don't do this to me. You have no idea how many times I get involved in Greek Freak trade talk, and then I get ripped from Bucks fans. I'll never be a Bucks fan ever again. I'm changing teams if they trade Giannis. Screw the Bucks. I'm giving up my season tickets if they trade Giannis. Screw you for even bringing it up. No. Yes. No.
I would think it's remote, but knowing Jason Kidd in that organization, if they believe there's somebody better than him out there, they'll do it in a heartbeat. They're ruthless. I mean, you saw that with Brandon Knight. Brandon Knight was the best player on the team.
Brandon Knight was the guy they didn't think they could sign.
Well, they could have signed
for the money that they wanted.
They didn't want to pay him.
Right, not for that much money. And we still don't know what he's going to get.
Under the ruse that he wasn't a true point guard.
Right,
which
correct.
How many true point guards are there today?
But Giannis, who did I trade him for? The first name that always comes to mind, because I love him, even though he's DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, that won't happen, I don't think. I mean, it's...
Well, I know it's not going to happen. But you said, is there a guy?
Yeah.
Well, Cousins would be my guy.
But my point is it goes back to where they want to win now. Right. They might say, hey, Giannis is still 3-4 years away.
I just don't think they can do it. I just don't. They got it.
They're not. But it's something I just want to bounce off.
No, they can't move him. He's Gery Woelfel. I'm Steve Sparky. Fifer, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Sports Junkies. One last thing. Who will they pick, Gery?
Rashad Vaughn.
I'll say it's going to be Bobby Portis. Enjoy the rest of your day here at RacinSportsZone.com. I hope you're right.